what's up, Internet peoples? Todd here again. I'm back from my long break I took for Christmas and New Year's. Hope you all had a fantastic Christmas or New Year's or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate. I hope you had a great time with family and loved ones. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. At the beginning of December last year, I had about 36 subscribers. As of now, I have almost 60 subscribers, so I just want to say thank you guys so much. I'm going to be giving some of my new subscribers some shout outs towards the end of the video, so please stick around for that, because I really want to thank you guys. Now, normally when I do these reviews for The Mandalorian, I have Jeffrey with me, but for some reason I can't find him. I have no idea where he went.
Yes, soon I will kill you, and then I will be free to take over the world. No more will I be held back by your mortal being. No more will I be held back to do these stupid videos. I'll be free to conquer the world. Say goodbye to your mortal corporeal form, but I will...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's fine. He'll be fine. We'll just go without him. Now, I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible. I actually already recorded this review. I rambled on for way too long, and I tried to do a point by point of each episode, and you know what? It just was way too long. So I'm just going to give you guys my general thoughts of the season, and just kind of talk about my favorite things about the season and the things I didn't necessarily like about the season, just in general. This is not going to be a play-by-play of each episode and what I thought of each episode. This is just going to be an overall season review. And I'm going to be skipping over the things that happened in the first episode because I already reviewed the first episode, which you can watch right here. But if you want my general thoughts on that one, I really liked that one, so go check it out. I really liked that episode. So basically the overall story of this season was Mando, or Din Djarin, trying to get Baby Yoda to the Jedi. He was trying to find other Mandalorians so he could get some kind of intel base, a sort of structure that he could trust of info so that he could find Jedi so that he could deliver Baby Yoda back to his people. Now, even though I liked the first season a lot, one of my biggest issues with it was that it was very episodic, which was fine. I prefer shows that have an arc that kind of expands on the entire season, that tells one large overall story instead of just individual stories here and there. So I really appreciate that Season 2 started to do that quite a bit. And the story was really good. I really enjoyed it. Of course, I think the visuals for this season were absolutely beautiful. They have done some great work experimenting with new technology to really make this show feel real without having to spend as much money. And they've definitely pioneered a lot of great technology for future filmmaking. I also really enjoyed the music, and of course the characters are always great. I think it was really well acted, and this series has some great surprises ahead that I absolutely loved. Alright, well that's pretty much as vague as I can get without going into spoilers, so if you have not seen The Mandalorian Season 2, I would recommend you just watch it and then come back to this video. I'm going to get into some spoiler territory right now, and I really can't talk about the season without doing that, so those are my general thoughts. I loved the season. It was great. Go check it out if you have not seen Mandalorian Season 2. I know there's some people who watch my videos to support me and all that who haven't finished The Mandalorian Season 2, so I am telling you to go finish it, Dad. Alright, now that you're all gone, now we get into spoilers. Okay, so of course, there were a lot of cameos in this season. I did kind of talk about vaguely in the first episode review I did. I didn't necessarily want this to become Mandalorian the cameo, basically, where it's just cameo after cameo after cameo. And they had quite a few cameos in this season. I don't know if you can necessarily call them cameos because they had significant parts to play in the story. Cameos are usually just background characters and just fan service just thrown in. But even with these reoccurring characters, I think they handled them really well, and they really serviced the story, and I think made the stories better. The first major cameo they had, well, we already talked about Boba Fett, but we'll get more into that later. But the first major cameo, I guess, after him was Bo-Katan. For those who don't know, Bo-Katan was a big character from the Clone Wars and Rebels, and she has a huge history within Star Wars lore. I'm not going to go into detail with that right here, because that would just take way too long. So just know that she's an important character. She's an important Mandalorian. She was the leader of Mandalore. So yeah, she's important. She's big. She was actually in the season final of the Clone Wars. So if you saw my reviews for those, you should know who she is. And again, I think the episodes that have her in them are really good, and I think they would still be good even if it wasn't Bo-Katan in there. If they had created a new character and replaced Bo-Katan with that character, I still think it would have been good. So I don't think it's just good because of the fan service, which is always my big concern when you bring in fan service. As much as I love bringing in all these characters, the big issue you can run into is that it's good because of those characters. For example, Rogue One. I, for the most part, kind of enjoy Rogue One. It's a decent movie, but when I came out of the theater, I was loving it because I was so high on the whole fact that Darth Vader showed up and started like doing all those cool things in that hallway. Like I was like, yeah, Darth Vader. And then I left and I was like, that's the one takeaway I have of this movie. Huh. Maybe the rest of it wasn't as good as I thought. And so that was kind of my concern with going into this season when I heard about all these cameos could potentially be happening. You know, you could have just these characters overshadow the main ones. But I think Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau did a great job of handling those characters, and they definitely do not overshadow Din Djarin or Baby Yoda. Another thing I loved about them bringing in Bo-Katan is we finally got an answer to that old question that we had from season 1. Why is it that Din can't take his helmet off and the other Mandalorians can't? But we've seen other Mandalorians take their helmets off in the past, like in Clone Wars and in Rebels. They were constantly taking their helmets off. So why is it suddenly a rule that Din can't take his helmet off? And I loved that they explained that Din is not part of mainstream or, I guess, orthodox Mandalorian culture, I guess, part of their religion, I guess. He's actually part of a cult, and his group is outside of the rest of Mandalore. And I actually really love that explanation. And I think it's very interesting that the main character of a story is actually part of a cult. Like, normally you see main characters maybe helping characters they meet along the way who are part of cults out of a cult. We've never really seen a story, or at least I've never seen a story about someone who's in a cult sort of realizing, maybe that's maybe not really the way. Maybe just because people take their helmets off, you know, that doesn't mean they're not really Mandalorians. Maybe there's more to being a Mandalorian than wearing my helmet and saying this is the way. And I really love how this season really challenged Din on that fact, and we see him slowly come to grips with this idea that, maybe there are other things more important. So yeah, I really enjoyed Bo-Katan being in this season, as well as Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano is a very big character for Star Wars fans, and if you don't know who she is, go watch the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. Just to sum up her character, she was once the apprentice to Anakin Skywalker during the Clone Wars, and then eventually, for reasons I'm not going to get into right now, she left the Jedi Order, and then after the Empire rose, she helped form the Rebel Alliance. So, yeah, she's a big character. She shows up because Bo-Katan tells Din Djarin that says, hey, I know of this Jedi that, you know, is out there. You can take Baby Yoda to her. And it's actually in that episode with Ahsoka Tano that we find out that Baby Yoda is actually named Grogu. Wait, Grogu? It's not Jeffrey? Wait, so Jeffrey's not the Baby Yoda in the show?
Yeah, I'm not the person in the show. I've been trying to tell you that for a while now.
Oh, there you are. Oh, wait, why do you got a gun?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, alright.
Alright, now I shall finally have my revenge. Ready? Aim, and...
Well, anyways, I mean, it's like, oh.
Gunshot sound.
Oh, dropped my phone, sorry.
No! Shoot! Okay, well, I have another shot ready, and... No!
Anyways, I thought the reveal of Baby Yoda's name was interesting. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be some big major thing like, oh, he's Yoda Jr. or something. Like, it's not going to be anyone we know. So I'm a little surprised that they waited so long to reveal his name. But yeah, I'm happy to know his name. Now this one, even without Ahsoka, it was still really good. Except for the fact that it was just really quiet. I guess that's a complaint I had about this episode alone. Like, there were a lot of times where people were just standing around walking and there wasn't any dialogue. Like, specifically with this scene with Ahsoka and Grogu. Like, they're meditating together and they're communing through the Force. It's a really good scene, but it kind of goes on for too long. You're going, oh, that's nice, that's pretty. Oh, that's a nice shot. Okay. Alright, this is getting a little too quiet now. Okay, nobody said a word. The music's kind of quiet too. Okay, so I'm not gonna say anything? Alright, can we move on? For the love of God, say something! Yeah, so that was like my biggest complaint with that episode. I also love that in the very next episode we got to see Tython. Oh boy, that was cool. Seeing Tython again, as a big Star Wars The Old Republic fan, I love Tython. Like, Tython's one of my favorite planets in that game. It's the planet you start off on when you play as the Jedi Knight or Jedi Consular class. It's got a huge amount of history within Star Wars lore as one of the very first planets the Jedi Order established itself on. So I loved seeing that. You know, Grogu had to, meditate on that seeing stone. If Grogu wanted to be trained, it was his way of reaching out to any other Jedi in the galaxy, because Ahsoka refused to train him. She's seen what happens when even a fully trained Jedi Knight lets his attachments get the better of him. Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader. And of course Boba Fett coming back in that episode. I mean, he came back in the first episode, but actually seeing him in action in that episode was so awesome. Like I've always said, Boba Fett's kind of overrated. And that's true. For a lot of the books and the comics and in the movies, he hardly does anything. And until this episode, he really hadn't done anything cool. But he did a lot of cool stuff in this episode, and I absolutely loved that. So yeah, Boba Fett's awesome now. He was always awesome in Legends, but in the new canon, just really didn't do anything. So I'm glad he got to get some good recognition. And of course we saw the Death Troopers, which were, again, awesome. They're very imposing and intimidating, just as they were back in Legends, so awesome. And then we saw Grogu get captured by Moff Gideon, by the Dark Troopers, and then Boba Fett teams up with Din Djarin, not permanently, but at least until they can save Grogu. I was like, alright, we're getting a Din and Boba team up, it's gonna be so awesome. And it was really good. And they get Cara Dune, they get a squad together, and they go to save Baby Yoda from Moff Gideon. They get Bo-Katan, he's like, hey, we're going up to Moff Gideon. She's like, oh cool, he has that Darksaber I want, so I'm gonna come with you. And he's like, alright, let's do this. Well, let's talk a little bit more about that last episode, though, where they actually rescue Grogu. Din fights Moff Gideon and gets the Darksaber, which, that's a big deal. And kind of goes into another small complaint I had. So, okay, here's the deal. So when Din Djarin defeated Moff Gideon, he, by right, earned the Darksaber. And the thing is, Bo-Katan has been trying to get the Darksaber back from Moff Gideon, so she's like, nobody touch him, he's mine. I gotta fight him in combat so I can get it from him. But then Din Djarin's forced to be the one to fight him, and he gets the Darksaber. And then Din tries to give it to her, and he's like, yeah, I don't want this, you can have it. But she's like, no, I can't take it because I gotta take it from someone in combat. I'm like, but you took it from Sabine. In Star Wars Rebels, she got the Darksaber, and then she relinquished it to Bo-Katan so that she could lead the Mandalorians. And all the Mandalorians were like, yeah, no, that's cool, we're reunited under you, we're fine with that. So why is it a problem here? I don't know, maybe they'll answer it in Season 3, but it's just confusing. It's kind of dumb. It feels like they're just kind of forcing a conflict here where there doesn't need to be. And even if the rules have changed and she has to fight Din for it, well, then have a wrestling match. Have a sparring match. Be like, alright, cool. Din just lets her win, and then she gets the Darksaber. No problem. She doesn't have to kill him. It's not like she has to kill him in order to get it. Of course, the Dark Troopers come back in this episode, and they really establish how powerful the Dark Troopers are in this episode. And, whoo boy, those things are super strong. They can, a couple of them can punch through a blast door. Granted, it would take a while, but that's still some serious strength. If it wasn't for Din's, Beskar armor, he would have been killed by one Death Trooper. They do a good job of showing that even though Din Djarin's one of the best fighters in the entire series, and he's got that indestructible armor, it still took everything he had to take down just one Death Trooper. But then, all the other Death Troopers from all the, that he shot into space earlier come back, and they just flood the ship. There's, hundreds of them. And they're like, yeah, all hope seems lost. But then, oh boy, one X-Wing shows up. One single X-Wing. And from that moment, I knew exactly what was happening. One X-Wing. The guy pops up on the security cameras wearing some robes. Pulls out a green lightsaber, has a black glove on his hand. Yeah, it was Luke Skywalker, and he just decimates all the Death Troopers. I'm like, yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. It was great. Look, I kind of called Luke Skywalker showing up. I'm kind of holding hope that we might see a Luke Skywalker cameo or something, but that's just me. He's the only Jedi that could have popped up when Grogu called to another Jedi to come and train him. But here's the thing, though. I thought Luke would just pop up as a cameo at the end. They save Grogu, they defeat Moff Gideon, and then Din would fly back to Tython, and then they'd be at the Seeing Stone, and Luke would be sitting there all Force Awakens style, turn around, and they'd either have some CGI or Sebastian Stan stand in for Luke, and then he'd hand him off after a tearful goodbye, and that would be it. But no, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni decided, no, if we're going to bring Luke back, we're going to do it right. We're going to have him take down a spaceship full of Death Troopers single-handedly and show just how powerful this guy is. It was funny, when I saw the Death Troopers coming in, I was like, you know, it'd be funny if like Luke Skywalker showed up and just saved everyone. I know that's not going to happen. And then it happened. I mean, this was pretty much my reaction when I saw that.
Luke Skywalker! Oh, I called it. Oh my gosh. Are they going to show his face? I can't believe it.
My hero came back. And look, I was really disappointed with how Luke was treated in The Last Jedi. I mean, that was not Luke Skywalker. I waited so long to see my hero come back. And they butchered him in that movie. And look, as much as I love seeing him take down Death Troopers, that's not like the reason I was excited to see him. I think this tweet here really encapsulates how I feel about seeing Luke again in this show. Again, it's not about the fact that he took down all those Death Troopers gloriously, which again, I loved, but it's more about seeing the character that I grew up with again. That was really what was impactful to me. And he's willing to train the next generation. In fact, he's eager to train the next generation, to do what Yoda told him to do, what Yoda in his dying breath said for Luke to do, to pass on what he learned. And that's the Luke I wanted to see in the sequel trilogy, but we didn't get that. Even though I know it all ends with, you know, Kylo Ren destroying Luke's Jedi Academy and probably ends up killing Grogu now that I think about it. Even knowing all that, I still appreciated seeing this. This is how you make fans happy. This is how you subvert expectations. And I love in that very end scene where Din takes his helmet off for Grogu. He lets Grogu see him as he is. It's the first time Grogu gets to see his face, and it's so heartwarming. It really shows like, hey, this is what's more important to me. This is more important. This is the way. Grogu is my way. And you know what? Before I say goodbye, he should get to see my face. And it's so beautiful. It's so heartwarming. And I love it. It's great. Anyway, those are pretty much my general thoughts on the season. I loved it. It was great. If you haven't seen it yet, well, I hope you have seen it before you watched all those spoilers. Like, I really think you should have just gone in blind with that whole Luke thing. I was so glad that it did not get spoiled for me. Anyway, those are my general thoughts on the whole season. What did you guys think of The Mandalorian Season 2? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you liked what you saw here, maybe consider liking the video and maybe hitting that subscribe button. I do a lot of videos like this where I review Star Wars content, but I've also been doing a lot of other things like the Marvel shows. And I've also started talking about Mass Effect, so if you have any interest in the Mass Effect series, I have a ton of videos coming out about that. So if you want to see those, hit that subscribe button. And also hit the notification bell so you're notified of all my future videos. And just as promised, I want to start doing some shout outs for some of my subscribers. There are a lot of you guys, so I'm going to try and fit you all in this video. But also another thing, I can't see everyone that subscribes to me for some reason. I don't know if it's like because some people like have their accounts set for private, so like their subscriptions are private, and because of that I can't see everyone that subscribed to me. I know I've gotten like 20 or so subscribers, but I only see like 7 or 8 of you here, so I'm gonna say all the ones that I know subscribed to me recently. So if you want to be shouted out in any future videos, hit that subscribe button and comment on my videos down below and say, hey, I subscribed. That's not just a ploy to get you guys to comment on my videos and help the algorithm. Well, it does help. I really want to give you guys shout outs, so if you have subscribed, please comment on the videos down below. Alright, let's say some of these names. Oh yeah, we have Jeff Drantes, Confu Havoc 2, USS Normandy NCC 1944-E, Chun Thor, Michael Shrapnel, Arjun Selvin, Elizabeth Lundgren, Moontan, NDG Crazy One, The Free Running Pirates, and Elizabeth Shannon. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.